Yo, welcome to another HWP podcast. Today we are going to have a great episode. Thanks for tuning in. The last pod we had, we were with Tim Palmer over at Buck and Obsessed, and I had just killed my first turkey on public land and got him all mounted behind me. Now here's the legs and the beard and the fan and all that. That was pretty awesome. Today on the pod, we're going to have a group of guys called Born Again Bow Hunters. They're a Christian-based group of hunters, and there's 4 or 5 of them. But I've just came across them about 3 months ago, and I've learned a lot from them. They have an Instagram, YouTube, pod, all of that, and I've just enjoyed learning a lot from them. They have a episode on the pod that they have that they talk about. They're called buck battles, and they talk about crossbows versus compound, and cell cameras versus regular cameras, and public versus private land, and all that, and the pros and cons. They have guests that come on, and they just talk about why they're for each of those. So I've learned a lot from those guys, and I was able to get them on the pod this morning, and we were able to. Main thing that we dealt with was what their plan was for this summer to just to prepare for archery season coming in October, and what they do to get ready for that. And then we just dabbled in some other things like how to bring your family along with what you're doing, what we're doing, how to get them involved in, looking for deer and stuff like that, and just getting them involved in all that and how they can help. And just that way, it's not just all you're getting everybody involved, and you're still spending time with your family at the same time. So I enjoyed getting some advice from the older guys there, just getting some wisdom from them. And then we just talked about different other stuff that they were planning on doing. So I hope you enjoy this podcast. Thanks for tuning in, and let's dive
guys, welcome to another episode of Hunting with a Passion pod. And today we have Born Again Bow Hunting on the pod. Welcome to the podcast, guys.
Howdy,
You want to introduce yourselves and tell us a little about what you guys do?
Yeah, thanks for having us. Go ahead, Kev.
So my name is Kevin Berkey. I am 31 years old, and we live over here in like northeastern Ohio area. I do for my job is I'm a mechanic, and we specialize in rebuilding automatic transmissions. Been hunting since I've been, before I could even carry a firearm or a bow in the woods. I went out with my dad, so probably like the 7-year-old mark roughly. And it's just ate up ever since then. Deer, waterfowl, turkey. Some small game stuff, but whitetail is definitely the big go-to for me.
Yeah. So I'm Matt Williams. Day job, I'm a robotic technician for a dairy company. So we actually install robotic milking equipment. Been hunting as long as I can remember, but really didn't take it serious until after college. I played soccer my whole life and played in college as well. So that took up a lot of my time. But once I got out of that, I really took hunting to another level, and haven't looked back since. We've got Born Again Bow Hunting that we started. I always say a couple years ago, but it's a lot longer than that. I think we're going on our 6th year. So we started that a long time ago. We didn't really take it serious at first. I'm going to say, to be honest, for like the first 3 or 4 years, we probably didn't take it as seriously as we should have. We were just dumb kids wanting to, film our hunts and stuff like that. But now I would say that we're consistently putting out content, and we're taking it a lot more serious. We have a podcast, YouTube channel, TikTok, Instagram, all that. But our content is mostly whitetail, but also we are a Christian-based brand, so we're very vocal about that as well. So
that's why
that's a little bit about us.
Awesome. Well, as I told you a little bit before we started the pod, I think our stories are like very similar. Like I didn't take it seriously either for like the first couple years, and then just meeting new friends and just learning different animals to hunt just kind of like made me want to dive way more into it and stuff like that. And like you said, we're very passionate about talking about Jesus Christ and God and being Christians and stuff like that. Because there's a lot of hunters that say they're Christian, stuff like that, but they don't really talk about it that much. And I like to put it into my videos. I like to talk about it on the pod a lot. I've had a couple Christian guys. I don't know if you're familiar with the Shearer family. There's Shoot Straight on the Outdoor channel. But they're a Christian based group too, and they talk a little bit. They're guides out in Montana, but they also take a lot of videos of them. They go to different countries and hunt and stuff like that. But I try to incorporate, because our company is hunting with a passion. We have two passions: God and hunting and the outdoors. So I try to incorporate both of those. So how did you guys meet? Did you guys grow up together, or I know there's more of you guys than just you two. There's like what, 4 or 5 of you guys?
Yeah, so there's 5 of us on the team. And throughout the years, we've had some people, come on and leave and just didn't realize that, it wasn't something that they were interested in, which is completely fine. But as of now, there's 5 guys, and I think the team that we have now is probably the one that's going to stick for a while. We really get along together. We have the same mindsets. We're putting God first, so that always helps. But Kevin and I actually met through a mutual friend, and actually Jarrett, who is on the team, he goes to church with Kev. And why don't you talk a little bit about that? Because you guys had a podcast, and then you can talk about that.
Yeah. So me and Jarrett just met through church and stuff, and we were like talking like, hey, we should do something. We both love outdoors, hunting, stuff like that. Let's start a podcast. And Jarrett was part of the Born Again crew before I got, asked to join. So we were planning on creating a podcast and doing it that way. And then it just so happened that, they asked me to join, and I think it's been a great fit. I'm
Yeah,
having a blast with
yeah,
it. And
it's
yeah,
definitely been fun.
it's fun. So yeah, me and Jarrett met, and it's been good ever since then.
Yep, yep.
Awesome.
So
So it's what, June? So for us, it's like 3 months till bow hunting starts. So last couple weeks I've been doing a lot of scouting. I started hunting on this new property last year. There's like three ladder stands, and then like two box blinds or shooting towers, whatever you want to call them. And so like those are like my only options. And then this year I was like, okay, I need to get some boots on the ground. It's like right next to public ground. It has like, I want to say 15,000 acres. Something. It's a lot. It's a lot of public right next to it. One of our stands is actually like right on the line, so it's we get a lot of the public deer coming over. We have a couple food plots and stuff going on, a couple clover fields. There's a giant cornfield and stuff. But I've been trying to get down there a lot. Try to find tracks, find just different where they're bedding at and all that, trying to get it set up for like an early season hunt and stuff like that. My goal this year is to kill my first deer on public land, because I hunted private farms and stuff like that growing up. So it's funny because I was listening to you guys' podcast the other week, and you guys were talking about that private versus public, and like you
yeah.
were talking, the one guy was saying like just like how that's like the big thing now is killing a deer on public. Like you feel like you're accomplished something bigger than someone else, like on private or whatever. And I actually started thinking about that. I'm like, that makes sense now. And I feel like it would be a little bit harder on public just because of all the hunting pressure. We're in like PA. Sure, we have a few. We have a good amount of bow hunters, but most of them rifle hunt. In fact, I've gotten to the point where I don't even go opening day of rifle season anymore, just because it's gotten somewhat dangerous where we've hunted before. I mean, I've had a bullet hit the tree next to me I was sitting in one time, and I'm like,
Wow.
okay. Yeah, it was very scary.
That'd be
Crazy.
I'd be getting out of there.
Yeah, I was a 16-year-old kid, and like you just hear shots going off, and then you see a tree get whacked, and I'm like, okay, I'm done. So, I mean, I usually go, like, our opening day used to be on Mondays, and then they bumped it back to Saturday. It used to be the Monday after Thanksgiving. Now it's the Saturday after Thanksgiving. A lot of controversy in Pennsylvania that just changed about, I want to say, 3 or 4 years ago. And like it's been Monday ever since my grandpa was a kid, and like a lot of controversy happened over that. Just because like the old timers are like, yeah, well, it gives us time to get home from Thanksgiving, go up to camp on Saturday or Sunday, and stuff like that. But I forget where I was going with all that. Um, but yeah, so I tried to get more of a bow hunting this year and a little bit last year. My pap shot crossbow his whole life, pretty much, because he had a bad shoulder from the military. So that's what I grew up shooting. And then moving over here to Western Pennsylvania, everybody shoots compound. And so like I would be like, yeah, you wanna come over and shoot Sunday afternoon? Yeah, sure. And I pull it with a crossbow, and you're like pretty much the laughing stock. So I'm like, all right, fine. So last year my wife got me a compound bow for Christmas. It was a bear. What is it called? The new bear one, whatever they have. I can't remember what it's called, but
Is it like the THP edition, or is it one of their
no,
flagships?
it's the Bear Adapt. That's what it is.
The Adapt.
It's called a Bear Adapt. It's a really good. It's got the Trophy Ridge sights and all that on there. So I've been shooting probably about 50 arrows a day, trying to get that dialed in at around 30 to 35. But so I've been trying to get a lot of tracking done, a lot of scouting done. I got this year. I'm trying out cell cams for the first time, so it's a little different because I'm used to. I like being able to go into the woods and check your camera. You can do your scouting at the same time, but at the same point, like I heard your other podcast about that too, and I took a lot of points away from that and wanting to. I don't want to blow them out or anything, like get my scent in there like all the time. I've been trying to go like days that it's raining and stuff like that. So I like the fact that with the cell cam that you don't have to be there all the time spooking deer and stuff like that. So I'm done talking now. I just wanted to see what you guys' plans for like the summer, how you guys get prepared for the season and stuff like that. Like what are y'all's plans for that?
You want to go, Kevin?
Yeah,
You want me to
I'll
start?
go first.
Yeah.
So I've been running a few cell cams here the last few years, maybe 3 to 4 total. I'm going to pick up another one or two maybe this year, and I'll put those out on the farm properties that I have to hunt, and run some minerals, this time of year leading into hunting season, just like a trophy rock and some
Lucky buck.
lucky buck, powder stuff to put down on it. Don't run any kind of like corn or anything like that. Just some minerals to kind of get them to come in, get a picture, kind of see what's in the area. And then so I've been hunting this farm for now about 4 years. So I kind of know the ins and outs of like how the deer move around on the property and stuff. So I don't have to necessarily put boots on the ground to scout it out. I know it changes year to year and stuff a little bit, but not too much. But then around me, there's some ag fields. So what I like to do kind of this time when the bucks are starting to get like full antler, wrap around.
Main beam starting to wrap. Yeah.
Go out and sit, in the evening times with the spotting scope or some binoculars and watch for, bucks out in either the cornfield right now, because it's, pretty low right now, or the bean fields that are around me. So I like to do that. And, it's just fun watching nice big velvet deer out there. And it's just a lot of fun to scout out and stuff.
Get a good idea of what's in the area.
Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that those deer are going to stay in the area, because like their summer range and winter range or fall range are completely different sometimes, but it is fun to see what's in the area right now.
I mean, this is pretty common knowledge, but for anybody listening, you will find. So say that buck does leave his summer. So say he's summering on you, but he leaves. I would almost bet 9 times out of 10 he'll come back.
Oh yeah,
either late season or during the rut. Like he's familiar with that area.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
just
there all summer.
Yeah. So don't like immediately write him off. And I wouldn't bank on it. Like if there's a giant, I wouldn't sit all year just waiting for him. But there is a chance that he may come back.
Yeah.
So I mean, don't get discouraged if everything leaves. Maybe just don't hunt early, and then maybe hunt like mid to late October. And if you do that, then you might have a chance at something that was in there during the summer. So but
awesome. Yeah, we're planning a Indiana trip. Let's see, end of November. We're gonna go for like 5 or 6 days. We're gonna go hunt Indiana down there at Hoosier National Forest.
Okay.
Down there, and I guess that's southern Indiana, close to Kentucky area. So this will be my first out of state hunt that I've ever done before. We did a little bit of scouting. I went up there Memorial Day weekend. My in-laws live up there around Indianapolis there. And so we were staying with them, and then they have actually some property down close to the national park. So they were setting up cameras down there. So they were showing me some areas that I could check out and stuff. So did a little scouting down there, which, I mean, it's hard to predict then what they're going to do now. But I just was trying to find a lot of like ridge points and pinch points where like they'd be crossing to go which
Mhm.
it's probably my second time being down there at Hoosier, and I thought all of Indiana was flat, but it is not. I
Yeah.
was like, what in the world? Like, I feel like I'm in like Kentucky or, Tennessee or something. It was like super hilly and stuff. So,
Yeah.
which, being from PA, we're used to a lot of hill country mountain deer. So I kind of knew more what I was looking for than with some of the other guys I was with. And trying to locate like acorn tree, like, late fall crops that they would be eating off of, acorns and stuff like that. So
So is that during the rifle season? Is
it
that
is during the
when?
rifle season. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
So I have heard that it gets pretty chaotic around that area during gun season. So I guess just be careful and make sure you have your orange. But
oh yeah,
I'm
100%.
sure you
Yeah.
get I'm sure you guys will have a good time. But
Yeah, we're going to we've found a couple spots there. We hiked that day a couple times. We checked different spots and we tried to get like past the crowd and stuff like that because the guys that I was with, they knew typically where the guys would be that, the local guys that, show up opening day and stuff like that where they would be hunting. So we
Mhm.
hiked about each time we checked a spot, we tried to go at least 4 or 5 miles back in. So to get past
wow.
Yeah.
so we'll probably be doing a lot of packing out and stuff like that, which that'll be a first for me.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm used to being in a spot where I can just drive a truck somewhere and toss her in the back and good to go. But
Yeah.
so,
Definitely need some kind of a frame pack or something if you're going to be trying to pack some deer out 4 or 5 miles in there.
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
that's farther than I'll ever go back. I only go back maybe two. And
Yeah.
then it's like, hold on. I mean, if you kill one, you gotta get them out of here.
yeah. So we're
So
gonna try to there's like limited cell reception there too. So we're gonna try to hunt in groups of two, and that
Mhm.
way you do have some help, especially if you get a big one. So I
Mhm.
saw this one thing that you can do. It's they call it the deer backpack or whatever, and like you cut their legs a certain way where you can like fold them together and walk them out with that. So we'll see how that
Yeah.
goes. But
yeah, a stick works really well too. I know Kevin has some experience. Like if you get a big stick and throw it on your shoulder and
hmm
like hog tie the deer,
like
that
That
the old Indian style or whatever they call that.
Yeah, that works better than you would expect. I mean, me and Jarrett did it once, and then me and two other buddies did it another time. And it's just like you got to find a good solid stick, but
Yeah,
guy in front, guy in the back with the deer on the stick, and it takes the load off
better than
yeah.
each guy.
dragging it.
Yeah, 10 times. You can
Oh yeah,
cover 3 times the amount of ground in half the time. It's
Yeah.
amazing. So
yeah,
that might be something you want to think about too. Even if you would cut like a 2x4 or something, leave it in the truck,
yeah,
take it
yeah,
in then if you'd kill or
That's a
something,
good idea,
because
yeah.
yeah.
it
That's
And then
good.
works.
you make your own custom deer hauler.
Yeah, no,
A
that
lot
works
cheaper
really
than
good.
a $400 frame pack,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Now,
but
have you guys hunted a lot out of state before?
yeah, we travel quite a bit.
Okay.
I've gone to Missouri, Kentucky, Indiana. This year I'm doing PA, Kentucky, Indiana, and Ohio. So I've got 4 tags this year. So it's a little ambitious. Like I think I bit off more than I can chew, but
Yeah.
I'm at that stage in my life where in a couple of years, like I'm gonna have to start having kids and like, I just kind of sat back and I talked to the wife about it and I'm just like, if I want to live a little bit,
Yeah.
like I gotta do it now. And she
Yeah.
was like, well, you better do it now before we start popping out kids. And once we have kids, I'm gonna have to start settling down a little bit. But
Yeah. Yeah. I
as
know how
long as
that.
I can, I'm gonna try to hit as much as I can when I can.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
So
like, how did your wives feel about you guys starting this? So like I started this right before I got married. I got married not this January, but last January. And then now I have a 3 month old. So I'm trying to like balance family time and stuff like that. I know like one of you doesn't have, do you have kids too? On the,
No, I
okay. So
no.
you guys are kind of lucky. No, I mean I love my kids, or my kid, but I know like I'm trying to balance the time between family and like, because I don't know about you guys, but like I'm trying to make money off of this, and that's the only way you can do it. I mean, you don't get paid to do this yet, but or at
yeah.
least I don't. But so I'm trying to make it work, and I know like you have to do certain things and make different sacrifices and stuff like that. But I'm trying to bring like the wife along with it into the process. Like I took her out hunting last year. She got her first deer ever, and it was about the size of a dog, but it's still a first deer that you can look back on, and you can say, and she did it with a compound too. So that's more than I can say.
Nice.
So,
Yeah.
so like, what would you guys say about that? Like, what's your opinion?
I would say like optimize your time. I personally, this is my take. I know I know a lot of people don't view this, but like I just lose sleep. So I she'll go to bed and I'll get on the computer and I'll start editing. Or I'll get up, like for example, for this podcast. For anybody listening to this, we're recording at 9 in the morning. So it's not super early, but like we wanted to get it out of the way.
Yeah.
The wife's at work currently, and I'm trying to get everything that I need to get done before she gets home.
Yeah.
And so I would just recommend, getting up. Your wife's not going to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Get up at 4 in the morning, edit your podcast, do everything you need to do, prep your cameras, get on Onyx, do that stuff. And then when she wakes up and when the kiddos wake up, then it's family time. So,
Yeah.
I mean, if you truly want to make this work, there has to be sacrifice. And for me, the easiest sacrifice that I can give up is sleep. So I just,
Yeah.
that's what I do. So,
I mean,
it's just,
we give up sleep for deer hunting. So, why can't we do that for like the homework that we have to do too? So,
Yeah.
it's
Exactly.
And Kevin, maybe he has some different advice.
No, I mean, you just got to utilize your time the best that you can, and set aside family time for just family time. Don't be trying to do both at the same time, because you may be with family, but your attention's over here on the podcast or the channel or whatever it may be. Just know that, okay, when I'm doing family stuff, I'm doing family stuff. When I'm doing this stuff, all your focus and your energy is going towards that. So
yeah, 100%. That's a valid point. Like, if you're doing something with your wife or kids, give 100%, and then they're gonna appreciate that. You can't just be there like a couch potato. You can't just be there. Like, if you're going to a family event, give 100%, because your wife's gonna appreciate that.
Yeah.
As the old hoon dogs. Sorry if you guys hear that, but also another point that I want to bring up is, like, in the summer, you can utilize scouting with, like, get some ice cream and put everybody in the truck.
yeah.
So I know I'll do that a lot. I'll be like, hey, wifey, you want to go get some sorry if you can hear that. I'll say, hey, wifey, you want to go get some ice cream and like go look for deer? And we call them our deer rides, where we'll literally just get in the truck. We'll drive wherever I have a location that I want to look at, even if it's a new area. We'll go there. We'll find some ice cream somewhere. We'll get ice cream. We'll make a date night out of it. And we'll just drive around, look for deer. I got her own pair of binos. I have my own binos, so she feels like she's more involved.
Yeah.
And we'll just go around, and what we do is we tally. Like, we'll write down on a piece of paper, like, we'll have does and bucks. And it's like a challenge. Every time you go out, how many more can we see? And it's just like, you may think that that's not necessarily scouting or that's not important. It's not boots on the ground, but you learn a lot by doing that, because you figure out where deer are in the summer. And then also once you figure out where a good pocket of deer are, you can then branch off and look at Onyx or whatever scouting map you have. And you can look at, all right, what's the biggest chunk of timber, or what's the smallest, and you can start picking out those things that you may want to go hunt, whether it's public or private. You can go knock on doors then.
Yeah.
And it's just a great way that your wife feels like she's involved. You can get your kiddo involved, and throw them in the car seat and just go have fun.
Oh yeah. That sounds like a good idea. I'm definitely gonna write that down. We were just actually talking about, like, hey, I was like, have you ever, like, grown up in Indiana, that it was flat and cornfields. I was like, did you ever, like, go out at night, like, just in the evening looking for deer? And she's like, not that I can really remember, but, like, when I was a teenager, like, that's what we did in the summer. Like, in the evenings when you were bored, you just hopped in the truck with a spotlight. No, in the summertime, not during hunting season, because that can get you arrested. But yeah, that's
just to clarify, in PA you can spotlight, but in Ohio you can't. In some other states you can't.
Oh,
but
really?
I know in PA. Yeah, I know.
Even
that,
in the
like,
summer?
Nope.
Yeah,
you're not allowed.
So I just wanted to clarify that. Like, I wish, like, I started listening to podcasts probably 4 or 5 years ago, and I noticed some guys were talking about jack lighting.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how are they getting away with this? And then over time, it's like, well, some states allow it. I think Wisconsin allows it. So I mean, I think like one of the Missouris or Iowas or Kansas, somewhere out there allows it. But Indiana doesn't, and Ohio doesn't,
Okay.
that I know of. But I know PA you're allowed to jacklight.
Like in
Yeah.
Ohio, even if you get caught with a spotlight in your truck,
Oh,
you
yeah.
can get fined pretty heavy
So
for it.
this is
Really?
how crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is how crazy the laws are in Ohio. Say you've got deer out in a field, and everybody's done it, but technically it's illegal. Even if you were to pull into like a farm lane, so your headlights would
Yep.
like shine the field and then
Turn the
back out.
lights on.
That's considering jacklighting, and technically by law, you're not allowed to do that.
That's crazy. Now,
Yeah.
y'all can bait there, right?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
can bait
Yeah,
in Ohio.
we can't bait because we have such a big CWD problem. Now there's some locations in Pennsylvania. I think you have to have a permit for it. But you can bait like in the summer. So like where I grew up, we had salt blocks all, like probably we put them out like in March, just try to give them some mineral blocks, something to pick at until spring gets here and stuff like that. And then
Yeah,
we'd
yeah.
have to
So
take them, we'd have to take them out 30 days before the season starts. But now where I live now, you can't have anything, no minerals, no salt licks or any like stuff you pour in the ground and all that. I was talking to a conservation officer, and he was telling me that they have found in their department that food plots actually work like 3 times better than any mineral or anything like that. So, because I didn't know if we could or not, and last year, we were going to, and then someone told us that we couldn't and stuff like that. So we just didn't know, especially since we just moved there. So we didn't. And then I guess it was a couple months ago, I ran into a conservation officer at the hardware store, and I was asking him about it. And I was like, well, good thing I know now. But yeah, we got like
yeah.
2 clover fields. We have an acre and a half clover field. It used to be an old airstrip for like the mail and stuff. They would fly in and like drop the mail off. It was like it's on the top of this mountain, this flat area, and they'd fly in and drop off the mail and stuff like that. But now it's not there anymore. The only thing they have a post where the old windsock used to be. It's kind of cool. But it's a
That's kinda
huge
cool.
Yeah.
flat area, and we just did it in clover last year. I think we're gonna do that again this year. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
so.
Cool.
Now, what type of bows do you guys shoot?
I have the Matthews V3X. So not this year's model, but last year's. And we run all new to us now is all Redline.
So new partnership for us. Bow accessories, sights, rest, stabilizers, quivers, all that good stuff. So we're really excited to run their stuff this year. Really solid products, very well built, and price point's very good too.
Yeah. Cromer's not here obviously, but Cromer and I are kind of like the bow nerds of the group.
Yeah.
And we went to ATA last year, and we were walking around, and we wanted to check out the Redline booth, and they came out with a brand new site called the Torch. It's very similar to any other high end slider, and we just wanted to check it out because their price point was hundreds of dollars cheaper than than other brands. And
Yeah.
we were like, all right, what's wrong with this thing? Like, let's go see if we can break it, basically. So Chrome and I went over there, and surprisingly we were like, wow. The quality of just the site in general for the price point was, we both looked at each other and we are like, they killed it. And I don't understand how they can get a quality site built for that cheap when everybody else is, unless they're just truly not marketing it or they're not making that much off of it. And I don't know if their margin, they just cut their margin because they want to make an affordable site. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But as far as quality goes, if anybody is listening to this and is interested in maybe some new accessories this year, or maybe your rest is wore out, or you're just looking for a more high-end site but you don't want to spend $700 on a setup, look into Redline, because they make some budget friendly stuff, and then they make some higher end stuff, which we really enjoy.
Yeah.
And we have some connections internally with Redline that we work with Trophy Line quite a bit as well, the tree saddles, and there's some like cross employment. Let's just say that there's some cross employment between the two brands or the two companies, and we get along with Trophy Line, and we were reached out to through them for Redline, and we thought that it was too good of a deal to pass up, so we wanted to go with it. And we pride ourselves in I'm never going to pick up a brand that I don't trust.
Yeah.
So let's say, for example, we didn't see that site at ATA, or we weren't able to get our hands on it. I'm not like, that's not us. So if Born Again is running something, and at the beginning stages of Born Again, I would say that we were kind of just in it for, like, free product or whatever change we could get. But now, if we're not truly happy with it, or if we're not
going to spend our own hard-earned money on it, we're not going to
yeah,
as a
we're not,
sponsorship.
100%. We're not going to try to push it to anybody else. So if anything that we run as a partnership, a quote unquote sponsorship, we try. And I know everybody says that, but I truly mean that. Like, we trust everything that we run. And Cromer and I, like, I've probably got so much money in my bow, I don't even want to talk about it. So, like, for me to give all that stuff up to run Redline, it means I truly trust the product. So,
Okay.
but we're happy. Super cool dudes over there. We're actually going to be going on a public land challenge with some of the guys over there from Redline and Trophy Line this year. So we're going to have fun with that. And we got a couple other good channels and brands tagging along, and it's gonna be a good time.
Yeah,
So
we're looking forward to that.
yeah, it's gonna be a highlight of the year for sure.
Yeah, sounds like it. Yeah. So I'm gonna close this out. And then I had a couple off-air questions for you guys. So thank you guys for being on the pod, and thanks everybody for listening and tuning in. And I hope you enjoy the podcast.